Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Business and Beyond's Feature Friday. I have a very fun guest today. His name is Omar Muratovic. He has been living in Arizona and has an engineering degree from Arizona State University. He is currently in a technical job with Blue Shield of California, which he really likes and thinks is pretty fun. He's also a tutor and the host of the Zoom Party show on YouTube. It's kind of like a Jeopardy show. He is also the host of Do We Really Know Them podcast. His passion is meeting people all over the world and collaboration. Welcome, Omar. Thank you for being on our show today.
Awesome. I'm excited to be on your program, Tanya, and talking about business and all that. Happy Friday to you.
You too. You too. So, can you tell us and tell the audience an overview of your business and why you got into all of these things that you're into?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, like I do a lot of things. I have a game show. I do a host. Do we really know them? I tutor, but I also work full time, right? And I mean, the beginning, I started working in my job it's been 5 years in my company, T-Tech. And then when COVID happened, a lot of things changed, right? And we can start with the game show part of it. I've always loved hosting. Like you can even see me, there's a picture of me having a star or even wearing the headset as if like a director, right? And so I was like, this might be an opportunity to try something new. I was watching some videos of people on YouTube doing a show, and I created one and then decided to, why not invite some friends that I knew from college and see what they think. And they were like, what is this Omar coming up with? Is he some ideas, as a joke kind of thing. And then they liked it. So I invited like my brother or a cousin or some people that are close to me and who know me. And then they said, oh, this is a good idea. This is fun. And then I said, why don't I keep growing and expand it and do it a couple of years now? Now season 5, been doing it. And it's been a lot of fun. And then with the tutoring as well too on side. But I can just continue. How much more do you want me to elaborate more on that?
So the Zoom Party show started because you wanted something new, you got your friends involved, and it just kind of has taken a life of its own, from my understanding, and now you're in season 5.
Exactly.
And that's fantastic. Why do you think it's done that? Why do you think it has taken a life of its own and it continues to grow and be successful?
I think the main thing is for me is the education, right? And then people like the fast pace and they like the excitement. They like to get something right, but they get something wrong. They get that anxiety to come to them. And so the excitement, right? And so when I do it, sometimes it's live, and sometimes I do it taped. We tape them and we upload them. So we'll have kids shows, we'll have adults, we'll have tournaments, and I think that they like that kind of excitement. That they see Jeopardy's been around in America for a long time, and so when they see it in the online environment, I don't think anyone has done that before. And I said, let's bring a game show on this platform.
So you think it's just the idea itself that has given you this much momentum and it brings people?
I believe so, yeah. And excitement of the education. You're teaching people new skills that they're gonna remember you for. Let's say, for example, geography, right? And then you show them a flag of a country, let's say China, and they say, oh, and then you go out and you see, oh, I remember China from this show or from this quiz show. And that's gonna make them feel good and make you feel good because they remember something that you learned. I'm all about education. That's why I was even teaching for a while too. I tutor. And so I want kids now, rather than being on their phones, to get educated in a fun way, watching these rather than watch social media or do other things. That's my purpose.
So all of these things that you're doing, the Zoom Party show, the Do We Really Know Them podcast, the tutoring, they're all based in educating people, right? They're based in education. Is that fair to
Exactly,
say?
yeah. So the other show, do we really know them, is so back in 2023 or 2022, I was on LinkedIn, and I kind of got a little bit bigger on LinkedIn. I have more followers there, and I started watching this guy called Donald Cohen. He did the show an hour every day, nonstop for 365 days a year, or I think even more. It was maybe 700 days. He kept going for a year or two. Fabulous guy in Colorado, and he reminded me of the old shows that they do, the morning shows with Regis. I'm a fan of him, and I was like, wow, there's an old guy in his 70s doing a show, and his shows are motivational. People are watching. I've never seen anything on LinkedIn of this nature. People can do a show, right? I've never seen that. And so I watched him day after day after day. And thankfully, with my job, I work in the afternoons. And I was like, wow. So then I got in contact with him, and then he brought me on his show. I was like, wow, this is terrifying. I remember coming on the show first time, and you can see it. I was kind of like nervous a bit, and then it got natural after that. We have this Omar guy. He's an engineer. He's like, I'm like, this superstar guy, you know? And then from there, I mean, this can go on forever. And then from there, shortly, I was like, I'm going to interview these people, bring them on like he's doing it. So I brought him on like he's the seventh guest. I brought some other people that I connected with. And it's, yeah, like you said, education, but it's also getting to know the wonderful people from LinkedIn and the world, really, what they do and their skills, right? Like Donald is a businessman. He has certain skills that can help people, or he knows. We have another person, Matt Allen. He does something to help homeless people. He's in the UK. And so you connect with these people and you know each one. I had somebody from South Africa before, or somebody from Nigeria. And I want the world to know who they are.
And so you're bringing out people's stories and sharing them, and it's in a unique way. It's not your typical, where were you born? Who are you? So give us a little bit of flavor as to what are some of the things that you're highlighting. How are you getting to know these people and getting the world to know who they are?
Yeah, I like to call it dig in their brains a bit, right? And deep down and understand who they really are. But I'll start with a question like apples or oranges. What would you like to eat? Let's say you have no fruits or nothing there. What would you go shop for? So I have to pick their brain on what they would do in that case. It's not like, yeah, where were you born? And that seems like one, okay, where were you born? How did you grow up? What was your education? But if they're a known person and people know him, I might ask those questions, and then I get down deeper to other questions in the slide format. So I share my screen on that show, and I show people what the question is, and he can read it. Rather, they can be comfortable that way. But it's more of that. And what is your favorite cartoon, for example? Like, if you would be a cartoon character, who would you be? That kind of thing. It would be like Scooby Doo or SpongeBob, and that makes him like, oh no, what am I? So that's kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's fun. So yeah, it's not like where did you grow up, or who was your how was your upbringing, or your parents like? Were you? It's like I don't really go into detail about that. It's more about getting to know them on a fun level, and then we get the final, more serious questions at the end about them. So
But and so in a Zoom party and in the Do We Really Know Them podcast, you have this element of fun that is integrated in this education. Is that how you do your tutoring sessions? Does that kind of integrate into that as well? Because it seems like it's just part of your personality of wanting to make things fun and engaging.
yeah, absolutely. I do use that a little bit, but I try to be more serious with the students because they're 17, 18-year-olds, and then the parents are paying a lot of money for that, for through the company. I work through a company called Varsity Tutors. And so I try, I test the waters with the students if they seem to be open-minded, but try to be serious, because if they don't take you seriously, then they tend to run away kind of in a couple of them. But if they're open and you have a nice conversation with them, and you can have fun, here and there with them. But I tend to be serious with them, and open up and have a conversation. I've had some issues in the past where some people are like, this guy's so silly, and it's like, so I try to be a little bit more that case, not who I am, but it has to be, you need to be serious in teaching.
Because it's a different situation.
I
It's a
know, yeah.
different type of relationship. I get it.
Yeah.
So in all of these businesses and all of these different endeavors that you are taking, what are some of the obstacles that you have faced in starting them? And more importantly, how have you overcome those obstacles?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a good question. I'm sure we've all had difficulties in starting anything, a business or whatever it is. And I guess I can start like in the beginning, especially for the quiz show. And even now, like there's always going to be a struggle finding people who are interested in it, or they have the fear of wanting to be on the show. Oh my God, I'm going to be on YouTube. They're going to see my face. They're going to take a copy of my face. They're going to record it, and then I'll be all over the world. And then something, I might go to jail or something like that. That was a fear too from my parents in terms of you're going to be there. Oh my God, it's been like 4 years now, and they're a little bit more better at it than being before, and then being cautious. But that's a little bit part of it in the beginning, having that fear from the people to want to join, and yourself exposing that. But I never had that fear in terms of being on camera. I've always been a social person and being able to talk. That one fear I had was when I was on Donald's show in the beginning, which I've never had that experience before. I mean, I've talked to people in colleges and stuff like that, but then COVID happened, so a little bit of breakage happened. So when I came into his show 3-4 years later, it was a shock, but then I was back to it again. It was kind of like that kind of thing. That's one challenge. I would say probably another challenge would be finding clients, finding people interested, promoting and having people that are really interested. That's the main challenge I can think of. I'm sure I'll think of something else later.
And so I'm glad you brought that up, because I find that a lot of business people struggle with finding the clients, finding the people who are interested in their product or their service, or getting on their show, or whatever it is that they do. And so, everybody has a different target audience. Everybody has a different preferred client or clientele. How do you overcome this obstacle of finding people, of finding clients? What do you do specifically?
Yeah, I usually I'll post on social media. I'm more on LinkedIn, or I also look for a personality, somebody who has a good, outstanding personality. But I post or ask people who know people who might be interested in this kind of thing. That's always a challenge from what I've seen. But asking people, trying to post, and there's an incident where somebody would say, "Yeah, I'll do it." A week later, you don't hear from them, and then you message them back, and it's like, okay, and then you kind of like, so you kind of ignore them and then go to somebody else. It's like you're wasting my time. Why are you, you signed up, kind of thing. So that's usually my approach.
So knowing when to fish and when to cut bait,
Yeah,
is something that you need to learn, right?
exactly. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, when you're starting out, you're wondering like, okay, who's gonna agree with this? Why is he not answering? He should agree. He said yes. You worry about that in the beginning, and then the more followers you have more support. Then you'll be like, okay, that guy doesn't matter, but there's others who would matter. And so as you grow older and you have experience, you realize that past doesn't matter, but the new things would matter, and then you'll have people who will sign up and will be interested in it. And so if you imagine 10 might be interested, and then you have that one who's not interested. And so as you get older and you get more followers, then you realize that's what it is, and it won't matter. Of course, it's gonna affect you. You're gonna be sensitive to that person, but it's like I had like a guy I was talking to the other day. I met him. He's in Europe, and I was mentioning maybe you or somebody. He's like right away. He said no, sorry. I said no, it's okay. I mean, I'm used to that. No, as long as you said it, it's like the people who just ignore you and just say, "Can you do it?" and then they just ignore you. They don't say anything. Just say no. But it doesn't hurt. Like you can't hurt your feelings if you say just say no. It's worse to just leave it blank. Ghost people. It's like,
I agree with you. I think responding to people, even if it's a no, is just much more considerate than just ghosting them. But on the other hand, there are so many people that don't check their messages for weeks on end. So
Yeah,
they're not really ghosting. They never got your message. Right.
exactly.
And so one of the things that brings up to me is the fact that business owners need to have thick skin,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And you said, I don't take it personal. And we shouldn't, because whoever you're prospecting, whoever you're trying to get to know and get a relationship with and trying to get to come on your show or buy your product doesn't know you or your product. So it's not personal, right? Or they might not need it at the moment, or it's not part of their life at the moment, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right. And so what that to me was a very hard lesson to learn, I have to admit.
Yeah.
Um, was that something that you learned very quickly, or did it take you some time, or like
Yeah,
how
I think, yeah, and at the beginning it was hard, right? When you come in, you're expecting people to agree with you and want to work with you and all that. But then as you get more followers and all that, I learned and still learning, we're always learning in terms of coping with certain things that happen. Of like, oh yeah, yeah, you'll spend like a whole page of writing of yeah, interested, and then you don't hear from them. So you're like, that's okay, but there's other people. So it's like life is short to worry about this as you grow older, and then I just turned 40, so that's the mature level, not right, that age. And so you kind of like try to waver and think about it. Of course you have those moments and you think about it like, why is that? But then it's like you gotta also think of the positive. Like, for imagine my show, I have 42 guests and they always said yes. I've been booked like for months, and they agreed to be at 42 different people. They never said no. They'll be like, I have a schedule or something, but then nobody ever canceled, even on the day of. Thank God they never canceled, and they always, maybe somebody was late, but see, you have those 42 people that are actually supporting. So majority of people are actually good, they help you out, but you have those weirdos here and there that have some issues in there. Like, I've had an incident with people I've been friends with for 5, 6 years. All of a sudden, they just do something that would really upset you, because it's like, what did you do? And then you realize it's not you, it's them. So,
and that's a very profound statement,
yeah,
right? Is you have to realize that it's not you, it is them. And there are other people who are going to benefit, who are going to want to be part of it, who are going to want to participate and help. And so making sure that you don't allow the no's to stop you from continuing to work on your dreams is a skill and a characteristic that is very important in business and starting anything, like you said from the beginning, right?
absolutely. I totally agree.
Yes. So, and one other thing that you had said that I wanted to also mention, because I think it's very important for the audience to understand, is you said you posted on LinkedIn. So you did outreach post, like social media posts, but you also went to specific people and asked them.
Yes.
So you use two different modalities. It's not just, oh, here I have this podcast. Whoever wants to come see me. It was also, hey, I looked at your, accolades. I looked at your LinkedIn profile and I think you're interesting and you would be a good fit for my show. Would you like to attend? Correct?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I always tell people is have a relationship with somebody. Like, ask first of all, say thank you for the connection, thank you for accepting me. Hope you're doing well. How's your day? Wait a few days and say, would you like to have a Zoom call, kind of thing. Know the person, see how they act, see how their personality is, and if you see them as a good fit or they know others who have connections with you, maybe invite them over to the show. But the majority of them, like in the beginning, people know each other, and so that's how, like, Donald Cohen and Leslie Flowers and all these people I mentioned, they know each other because we were in that same circle. And so when I asked them, they actually told me, when can you bring me on your show? Like, they're like, can you bring me on, like, right over there? So they ask you, those are the people that want to be on there. And then some of them will be like, yeah, I can be on there, but at certain time. So it's like you wait, but then the ones who you know in person, you can also, so they know who you are. So basically, they know who you are, your personality, have a relationship with them, and then ask them that. Don't go over it like, here's my book, can you buy it? You know, kind of thing. And so they know who you are. So there are some people like that who actually would send me the book right away. And like, can you? I'm like, yeah, let me just know you first. I'm like, I don't know. Now I have an example. There's a guy actually who I connected with him. He was like, can you bring me on your show? I have a book. And I'm like, yeah, I might be doing a segment about books and people who wrote books, but it'll be good. And he's like, he gave me a thumbs up. And then he was like, oh, I'm not doing good. I'm doing bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry to hear that. I lost my house. But if you can bring me on your show and promote my book, maybe I can get some business. I said, yeah, possibly. I'll see when I can do that segment. And he was like, yeah, thank you. I'm like, what are you? I'm not, I'm a nobody. Like, I'm not going to give you more followers, maybe another 500 people or something. But in the beginning, I did kind of promote him and put some, tagged him and stuff. Like he got some followers, which is, but it's like, here's my book. But it's kind of interesting. I'll bring my, I mean, I don't say no to people. I like all people. I'm not racist about anybody. I'm only racist, I guess, people who are actually mean or tough or have a certain way of not accepting who you are and your product kind of thing. But I'm okay with him. He wasn't rude to me or anything. So he might be coming on too. If you're watching, Travis, maybe that part shouldn't be on there. I don't know if he's gonna be watching. But
Well, but this is all part of business, right? We have people are part of business,
yeah,
and you cannot separate the business from the person really, because people have emotions and they make up the business. And so anytime you speak to anybody, you have to be mindful of who they are and where they are, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's and so what what makes you unique in what you're doing, other than you're just open to having people come on your show to have fun? So what makes you unique?
Yeah, I think what makes me unique in terms of my shows are that my it's a deep question, really. I have to think about it for a second. But what makes me unique is like being smart and being able to gather people together from different countries, maybe, and have them have a conversation. I had a show last week from South Africa, and I brought his crew as a surprise on there, and that really inspired him. He was shocked that I was bringing. So I actually did some research, and I do the show everything by myself. Like I don't have any. I have some people who like write some emails for me and stuff like that. But I like to do everything myself, really. But I brought his crew on as a surprise, and he really liked that. And so what makes me unique is bringing people together from other nationalities, other religions together in unity. And so that's what I'm about. And so I think I like that part of it. It's a deep question, definitely.
Well, I love that, because I always say, we are the human race. We
Yeah,
are all
right.
people, right? And so I love the fact that you look at people as people and you just want to bring them in unity together, no matter their background, no matter their religion, no matter their country,
Yeah.
um, just to be a human being on a show
Yeah.
and connect.
Exactly. I mean, what upsets me is like sometimes you see certain groups from a certain country who are just joining together and then they're not incorporating other people from there. Let's say whatever country you're in, I don't want to mention anything. But if they are gathering and don't tell anybody, I get upset. It's like, why are you just excluded to your culture? Open up to other people. How are you gonna, be? I always like the African culture. They're always open from my perspective. I see them very open people. They like people. And they very much are open-minded to try new things, and so their culture is wonderful. So we should learn from them and not have that grudge of only me. I mean, there's certain things, but just bring in other people and just see who they are. You never know what's going to open up. So that's
That's right. I think differences are amazing.
yeah,
right? They help you see different perspectives. They help you learn different things. They help you expand your mind and think about solutions in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think, knowledge is power, as they say. And the more you're open to learning more about different cultures and different people and different ways of doing things, the more you are able to problem solve and bring more value and find new ways that are maybe more efficient, more productive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so have you found that in bringing people together, it's making a difference in their lives and their perspectives?
Yeah, some of them. I mean, most of them are already known to doing this. A few of them, but I think it does. Yeah, I haven't heard it from them, but I mean, I did hear that they thank you for doing this. They called me a Jim. They called me stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them are pleased that I'm doing what I'm doing in terms of bringing people together and having them learn about who they are and that kind of thing. And it's not right now not making money off of it. It's more about getting people together, and that's growing. I think they like that kindness. They like that. They see wars. They see this, and they don't see any kindness. We need more of that. And there's a lot of wonderful people out there, definitely. But I think that's why people like it, because it's growing, and then you're bringing different people from different nationalities, from South Africa, from Europe, from Ukraine. We pick out people from Russia. It's that kind of thing. So it's we had a player from Ukraine who participated on my show, a wife, the husband of somebody who was on the show. So it was amazing. He was living there.
So
So
nice.
yeah.
What would you say is working in your business? What is something that you have done that you're like, oh, good, this part of it is working well. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I would say the question writing, that part is working well. Maybe that my personality in terms of talking to people and being able to connect with them, that's working well. I'm able to have a good uh, opening dialogue with them and have that friendly conversation with them to make them feel welcome to me. That's what I would say.
And how did you develop that? How did you get that to work well?
I think my growing up, I mean, my parents were always open. I remember always like my mom would say, "Oh, there's a person here. Have we invited him over? Have we invited that person?" So they were always open, and she'd be like, "Is there anybody we haven't invited to our house?" And so we've always been that open and had that social. Even when I was a kid, I would always talk to people, have friends, and have connections from grade school and all that. I went to school in Arizona and also in another state. But I've always been like this from my parents, and they've always been open minded and making us like people. And I've been always a curious person as a kid that I wanted to know what the world is about and who this is and who that is. It's just been my personality and my parents' upbringing. Yeah. So
So developing that curiosity from when you were little has
yeah,
really helped you bridge that gap, I guess, and be successful in bringing people together.
exactly. Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to come back to that you had said previously was you asked your friends and family first, and then you had people from certain circles come back and say, oh, can I be on your podcast? Right. And so I just wanted to highlight that because a
Yeah.
lot of business owners forget who they have in their circle who can actually help them and who would want to help them, right? Friends,
Yeah.
family, then the people that they know, their friends and their families. And it just kind of exponentially grows from there when you start utilizing and giving value to people, right? Is that your experience?
Yeah, so I started the game show actually in 2020, but then the podcast was in like 2023. That was later. So I started that when I saw people interviewing people, and I was like, oh, this is a good idea. I didn't know you can do this on LinkedIn. And what is StreamYard? What is all this stuff? and I use StreamYard or Restream, and you can actually broadcast to these. And so I started that later, and then I brought the people who were on my show before. So in the beginning, when I did the quiz show, I brought the people that I know, the close people, and then I had students that were tutoring, and their parents were okay with that. Either they're living in India or in Saudi, and they're open to that. You know, like, yeah, this is fun. They get a prize too. Like all the kids who participate, they get like $20 or $25 because I believe in education and kids learn, they get a prize. So that's where it really started with the kids and the close people, and then it got with different connections that I know who know me, and then it grew from there in terms of posting or on LinkedIn. And would you like to be on the show? Or would you like? And people would be interested in it. But the podcast was connection of connection, and this was like 2 years ago now. So
Very nice. Now, one thing I always tell people is this is your business, right? It's your goals, your idea of success is what you need to shoot for. And this kind of comes into play here because you said it's only you have some people who write emails for you or things sometimes, but you're the producer, you're the one who finds the people to come on the show, you're the one who writes the questions, and it's successful and you're having fun with it. And so I just want to highlight that as well, because you don't have to build a multi-million-dollar, multi-employee business to be a success, right? It's whatever makes you happy.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. It's bringing the people together, and then just connecting from that. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And so I wanted to commend you on that and kind of highlight it again. Now, what has been the biggest failure or the biggest obstacle in your life that has kind of shaped the way that you're doing business, shaped the way for how you love to bring people together and unify the world?
Yeah. Let me see. I would say probably distance, maybe distance. Everybody's far away. Not being able to go, and so that's why I traveled in October. I went to Europe, Turkey, and I also went to UK to meet some of my connections, and had some videos with them and some recordings. So I did that. I posted them, but I think distance is the main thing, and not being able to come out and be able to be with them. That's, I think, the main thing that I can think about right now. Repeat the question one more time, and maybe I can think of something else.
So it was just, what's the biggest obstacle or
Obstacle.
failure that has shaped how you do business? And
Yeah.
you said distance. That's
Yeah.
a big thing. Now, how have you overcome that, or have you overcome that obstacle with the distance?
Yeah, I mean, with the online environment, you can now use everything with Zoom and all that. It's not where I'm at that I really want to. I want to do things more in person, and so that's something in the future that I'm looking forward to. It's in terms of who's interested in all that. Like, I'll go to a community center and it'll be like, oh no, I'm not interested in this, or I go to somebody maybe they're interested, that kind of thing. So I'm looking for people maybe who are interested in doing it in person in the future. But I think the obstacle, having people interested in being on it, and the distance, kind of thing. It's like, oh, the time zone, or time zone doesn't fit for me, kind of thing. But those are part of, I think, the obstacles. And in terms of coming over it, maybe, I'm still working on getting those challenges in terms of getting people interested in having me in person. But I'm okay with that. This is, again, more of a fun thing, and if it moves on somewhere else, why not? And then maybe in that case it goes somewhere. So you just keep asking. So there's an example. I'm sure you're familiar with the program called The View, right, on ABC. So when the show started in the beginning, they had Barbara Walters. So she mentioned that she kept knocking on people's doors to watch her show. This was like 20, 30 years. And then look at the success of the show. So you gotta actually like her approach. Like, you ask the neighbor, watch the show, watch it. You ask somebody who watches somebody who watches somebody else, and then they eventually like that. And that's the thing. That's how it works out. So you started slow and just, I get like 3 or 4 subscribers a week. And from there it gets bigger. And then from there people will know you and then you can get somewhere else. So that's the thing. Just start it slow and don't worry about it. It's a slow progress and it'll get there. It's not, as long as it's moving up, it's not like steady. Some people have like 3 or 4 views and then that's it. Mine is just going up there for some reason. Praise be to God. But yeah, amazing.
So if you could give a word of advice to business owners, what would it be that can really change their trajectory?
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say probably have patience and know who your audience is, right? If you are targeting the wrong people, it might not work. So just be cautious, be patient, and not everybody will be your cup of tea. Not everybody will like your product, but it depends. Like I'm also guilty of like, oh, why in the beginning, it's like, why don't you want to be on the show? Why don't you want to be on the show? It's like, and then it's like, so I had this theory in the beginning, like if nobody signed up, I'm done. I'm over. I'm not going to do this anymore. But then people were signing up. And then I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's like that's how like if it's like one person signed up or 2 people signed up, I might do 1 or 2 people. But it's like if nobody shows interest anymore at this stage in 5 years, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's not worth it. But then you can only do so much. But now people are interested. Like they love this. I have like 4 or 5 people from Nigeria, or there's a guy who was 2 a.m. in Nigeria. He woke up or he stayed up just to be on the show. I'm like, what time is it? 2 a.m. Nigeria. I was like, and we were just laughing about it in the thing. And I'm like, wow. It's like, I was like, can you repeat your time there, sir? And he was like, yep, it's 2 a.m. And we were just, I made a blooper about it. It was hilarious. It was like, but yeah, that's it.
That so there have been some great nuggets here. One is don't give up. Don't let a couple of no's stop you, because for every no, there's going to be a few yeses. You just have to keep persevering. You have to have patience, and you have to find your audience, the people that resonate with you. And not everybody is going to be your cup of tea, as Omar just said. So, Omar, another thing you said was that you tutor kids 17, 18 years old all over the world, correct?
Mostly in the company I'm with is mostly in the US. I've had some around the world, a couple, not much. Majority is in the US.
Okay. And so how can people get a hold of you if they wanted to be on the show, if they wanted to learn more, if they wanted to hire you as a tutor?
Yeah, absolutely. I can start. I have an email. So for the show, it's called, I can type it in the chat box for you and you can highlight it for people. But it's pretty easy. It's zoomparty@zmail.com. That's the email for the Zoom party there. And you can reach me on that. I'm also on LinkedIn. It's also under my name. I have it as Omar M there. But if you search Zoom party as well, I have it under linkedin.com/in/Zoom party. And there was a young lady on LinkedIn who's like, you can put that in your name there. So she showed me that. So we added that. So you have these wonderful people on LinkedIn that you meet. Somebody will say this or this suggestion or put this on your background. And I'm open to that idea. So you can find, that's my email. That's my LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I'm on Facebook, but that's more of, if you find me, you connect with me. It's also Zoom party. I have it like Omar Zoom party there. I don't have, so that's there. And yeah, that's how you get, and also my YouTube channel, just put in, do we really know them? That's the podcast there. So always looking for interesting guests to be on there and to know people from around the world who are interesting. And if you like to highlight that too, when this is out, it'll be good. You can show a clip from that show. And yeah. So that's how you can find me.
Thank you. And all of that information will be on the video and they will be in the comments below. So you can always figure out how to get a hold of Omar. Thank you so much for being on our show today. Thank you for giving us all of these nuggets. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. See you later.
Bye.